Doom of the Spider Queen, picked by Team Dignitas.
I'm gonna put this into perspective because for me, the biggest focus has simply been deny Genji, deny Tracer, deal with whatever backline they want to go, because Gen.G does not look like the same killer comp that we are used to without those elements.
And overall, let's get into it. It's going to be game number 3 with the 2-1 advantage here currently for Gen.G. And in the end, the question was realized. Can gods bleed? Yes, they can.
Well, Gen.G is first pick, which means they can let either a Genji or a Tracer through and get one or the other. But would they be willing to get Tracer without some of those backup heroes? Doesn't matter. Dignitas will say, no Tracer, we'll deal with the Genji if we have to.
Well, you're going to get the Malfurion. It's just a matter of we've seen a high priority on a Johanna as of late, but also to keep into consideration, maybe, well, there's going to be the Genji, the Malfurion, but even the Jaina now has risen in priority here for both teams. I think Gen.G, I don't think they look as comfortable with that style of play, though.
At least for Gen.G here, they don't have to worry too much about stitches.
They don't have to worry about the stitches, but the highest priority has been, you know, Garrosh whenever Johanna has fallen out, and it's kind of been back and forth through the back end of this tournament. And, you know, I called out Hooligan earlier in the tournament, saying that the play on the Garrosh was a little bit kind of subpar, especially from what we saw in the Western world. I don't think Tis is kind of, you know, is upgraded version of Hooligan, but you can definitely see that there are kind of moments of not the same level of comfort that we see the Western teams, because the Western teams have been playing it since legitimately immediate release into the game.
Tomb is a place where Dignitas have been willing to run Chromie, already having Genji. It's likely we could see that combo, though it's been banned a fair amount against them. Also, Deckard Kane, which seems to be just Dignitas's answer for when they need the sustained healing and don't get that Malfurion.
Well, this is very similar to their earlier matchup because this was a composition that Gen.G started with in their draft. They ended up, that's when the Lunara came into play, as well as that Leoric, and we all remember that game-winning Leoric flank towards the later part of that game. So for Gen.G, things very familiar. Same thing on the side of Dignitas. We'll see if maybe the bans shake things up a little bit, because in game number 1, Gilly, on that Chromie pick, was banned by Gen.G against Dignitas on that game number 1.
I gotta lie, I'm a bit stumped here.
Contemplating.
I'm gonna guess solo.
Yeah.
That's interesting because, again, Gen.G has not played a single Dahaka this whole tournament, except when Reset was on it, and that was, let's be real, kind of a strange draft. It was the double support. Hanzo on Battlefield of Eternity versus Ballistics. You had to question how much Gen.G felt like they were showing there.
I honestly feel like Dignitas is comfortable letting Sonya through, especially against the Johanna, because Condemn gets the interrupt on the Whirlwind, and it doesn't have the same type of threat, the same type of saving mechanics that we would see. When you talk about Malfurion, sometimes we have that backup. It raises, we haven't seen Tyrael in forever, by the way, but that's because he's been reworked. So I think they're comfortable letting a Sonya through, and that is if we see a Leoric here on the side of Dignitas, unless they pick up the Sonya.
Leo would be pretty dominant, you know, taking the Hawk off the table. Yeah, and there's the Chromie. And the Jaina ban, I can't help but feel like came in purely as a response to how much pressure we saw the Garrosh kind of under whenever the Jaina does sit in the hands of Team Dignitas. And then forcing that out, we get the Chromie through, unlike the last draft on that opportunity. And the Dahaka ban, again, it's going to really be able to snowball that lane over in favor of Dignitas. Dignitas right now, I mean, from beginning to end, I feel like they came in with a game plan and they've got all the 4 picks in the order that they wanted. So they've got to feel very good.
False stand always has to be in question here when we look at these teams. Hanzo, obviously the pickup. I think the last time we saw this, we saw the Lunara. Lunara does not do really well into this composition, especially the Chromie in particular. So where does that next hero lie? We saw the Junkrat last game. I think that was more situational against the Medivh. Didn't work out. So Falstad, maybe Sonya seems likely. Gen.G to see if they maybe break up the norm.
It does feel like Dignitas's game plan, slowly but surely, has been a little bit of Kyocha focus. Is he back onto the Sonya?
Ooh, Malfail.
And Phoenix.
The Phoenix, not super surprising, as we've seen quite a bit of it here in this tournament. It also gives you kind of safety options, especially if you get temporal looped. You can kind of warp out of things right at the last moment. Malthael has a self-cleanse. Garrosh has a self-cleanse. Hanzo and Malfurion. Malfurion post 13 has Ice Block, so I think there are saving options because we did see a temporal loop earlier, so you have a lot of safety nets on the side of Gen.G without the bunker. So I think that does work in favor of Gen.G.
We'll say that not Genji necessarily specifically, but especially Korean teams in the Eastern world has if we do go in the last rights route, a lot of cool creative ways to be able to approach that type of skirmish, usually paired with a long-range nuke. Just set it up with the early last rights and kind of get that in. Like in this type of situation, maybe, you know, going into that Planet Cracker, but based on that last pick, I'd say probably going to be a salvo here.
Salvo and potential Tormented Souls against an Uther.
Double spread.
Like that is a lot of AoE damage.
Definitely is, definitely is. Looking at it though, our first 3 picks for Gen.G were exactly the same as the first time that they met Dignitas, but then they really deviated, admittedly, because Dignitas actually took Leoric on the other side, and that could have been a potential factor, but overall...
The Malthael was a very common pick when Rich was still on that melee. He loved to do damage, he loved to get kills, and that's something we know he likes to do. Since Kyocha's come over, Malthael fell out of the meta around the time of the clash when that switch came back. And it doesn't seem like it's been as popular since then, so this is an interesting pick.
It's time for predictions.
Stig. Dignitas is their map selection, though it's amazing for Gen.G, but they blatantly came in with a game plan and got everything they liked, and they are a better macro team on a macro-oriented map, so I think they've got it here.
I saw Dignitas struggle with the Genji, with the Chromie pick. In the earlier series, they were able to clutch it out, but I think this is a different beast. I'm still going to go with Gen.G here.
Okay.
Man, I'm not thrilled about the Uther into the spread damage, but I think it's still going to be a last rights. We'll see about that, but I think Dignitas has swayed my vote. They came in confident. It's their map. Let's do it.
All right. Hi.
Well, you have company this time.
Yes, I do. Wow. It's time for Dignitas again. We're getting it in. Let's see if they can do it. Punch, punch, punch. There we go. It's gonna be a close one though, I think here. Genji still has a pretty scary composition. Let's see what Twitch chat thinks out there as well. 23.
One game, and everybody immediately over to Dignitas.
Choo-choo.
It might be difficult.
Just forget the past 3-4 weeks of absolute domination and terror. One game, we have what it takes.
All right, let's head over to our commentary team as well. We have a true final on our hands, and I couldn't have hoped for any more.
That we do. I don't think we would want it any other way. Dignitas coming in here and challenging everything that Genji knows about the game, and it's a map that we're pretty good at. I'm excited.
Yeah, and the audience is hyped as well. I mean, we can barely understand ourselves here. This is going to be crazy.
2-2, 3-1. We're about to find out.
All right, well, let's go straight into the match here. Tuma Spider Queen, a European special. If we're able to get that double turn-in, which is so strong, especially with the control here from Chromie, I can see Genji being on the back foot.
Yeah, and we swayed already the predictions of our analysts. The bandwagon has left the station, and it's all heading to Dignitown. First of all, though, to the left of the map, in our game here on Tomb, we have Sake on Malfurion, Rich again for the 3rd time on Hanzo, Tist on Garrosh, Kyoja on Malthael, and Reset on Phoenix. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Gen.G!
Coming fresh off of a win, Snitch playing Genji, JPL on Johanna, Poik on Chromie, Wubby on Leoric, Zalia on Uther. Give it up for Dignitas!
Coming into the series, we asked the question, is there anyone who can win against Gen.G? And the answer was yes, there is. Dignitas with the first win here, and the match has started. Game number 3, Gen.G still holding on to the advantage since they come from the winner's bracket into this best of 7, but Dignitas has started to fight back.
And they have stacked up the minion wave here so they can get control of the minions right away. They want to be clearing and keeping the push on the side of Gen.G's side. That way Chromie can continuously poke around, and they start to do that here in the top lane. Gen.G, however, has a Phoenix, pretty darn good at clearing out lanes themselves, and we'll see if they'll be able to control what Dignitas has brought to the table.
Rich has said it several times, this is not the game that they wanted in the grand final. This is not the opponent they were looking for here, and now they have to react to the fact that their win streak of 38-0 was ended by Dignitas, and they have to come in and make that happen on a map that European teams feel extremely comfortable on.
I feel like the wild card here for me is going to be Kyocha on that Malthael.
Yeah.
Will he be able to find last rights if that's what we're going for? Divine Shield has been used as a tactic to deny stacks in the past, but if you ever start to get those last rights, last hits, and you get that cooldown reduction coming in, that's a trade that you are willing to take after 2 to 3 stacks.
I absolutely agree with you. Malthael is definitely the wild card in here. On a Pale Horse has been the level 1 talent, so the quick rotations that we oftentimes highlight on this small battleground are going to be absolutely crucial. And once again, Tistia a little bit too far out, and Dignitas is going in. They want kill number 1.
Stitch is chasing, but the armor and the heals are coming in. Tis seems to be just fine. JPL is about to have a condemn. He goes for the slow. There goes the condemn, but Tis turns around with the groundbreaker as Rich steps forward and makes Snitch back away.
Definitely a tense moment for Gen.G here. They didn't quite expect that. Dignitas might not have been able to secure the kill, but they are definitely showing their teeth.
JPL under some siege here.
Leoric.
Kyocha comes in the middle.
Leoric at the bot lane has a little bit more room and is immediately moving in, pushing this back. And thanks to the Wraith Walk, Wooby is going to be just fine and dandy here.
Some wave clear talents come online for both teams actually at level 4. Neil Peasants for Leoric, so he can start to match against Malthael as he tries to rotate around, but Hanzo also with the explosive arrow will help out in these lanes. So wave clear should be dandy for both of them, as we actually have a fight around these giants. Rich gets caught out, Drain Hope hits, he's got a natural agility away, but here's Chromie. 4 members of Genji is here to fight as Dignitas matches with 5.
Big invade, but Phoenix is missing, and Gen.G realizes they have to get this up. Dignitas goes in and they grab them, they get the Siege Giants.
And they do it quickly too, which means they should be able to get back to lanes and continue to soak experience. Johanna going to the top against Phoenix. Genji in the middle lane as well to soak up. So Dignitas loses nothing on that exchange.
Great understanding of the map here, and Dignitas with that scout are now able to get a bit more pressure onto that bot lane. But of course, a quick reaction from Gen.G. They're trying to go for Wooby. They're trying to take down these gems, and they're about to get the first kill. Gen.G, they go in, they drop Leoric, and that's 11 gems down the drain.
Genji not allowing that loss in the last map to affect them at all. Finding these moments, getting these kills with some gems falling off here. Dignitas will be behind a gem exchange. They'll have to find kills themselves or at least delay long enough so they can get their own turn in. So Dignitas immediately puts Chromie in the bottom lane. She'll continue to soak while the rest of the team waits for Leoric to come back.
And there's a fierce battle happening here between the lanes already. Once again, Tist is trying to see if he can get that flip, but Zelia is ready and stuns him out there. Gen.G with a turn-in attempt. Dignitas has secured 24 already. Gen.G is sitting at 19, but they still hold a slight advantage thanks to that kill against Leoric early on.
Poik continuing to siege away, looking at his stacks right now, sitting at a total of 15. 10 on the Time Walker's Pursuit, should be finishing that up pretty soon as well. We're gonna see if Dignitas will be moving into that temporal loop that we've seen pretty often here from Chromie, especially against Malfurion compositions, or if they're gonna go for the slowing sands and attempt to control for a little bit longer.
Absolutely, he has definitely both options here, and we're also gonna keep a close eye on his stacking progress, since Poik has in the past few games not completed as quickly as he wanted to, but they still got their kills in, and that's something that they excelled with in this entire series. They were absolutely amazing when it came to bringing the fight to Gen.G.
Genji going for the turn, and they drop 45 gems. Genji trying to slow that down while Dignitas preps up this Night Camp to have that for defense in case the turn-in does go in. And it does, as Genji will be looking to push out the map. So they get the first turn of the game, as Dignitas will have to play defense.
The early level 7 here for Gen.G. They have the quicker talent. Dignitas, on the other hand, picking it up now as well. The Blue Earth Weavers going to descend, and Dignitas has to defend here. How much can Gen.G get with this? Can they really barrel through these towers, take them down, and get that experience lead? Snowball it to the second turn in, and pull that European strategy off themselves.
Dignitas waits in the Night Camp. Before grabbing it, they want to make sure that the turret's going to be able to help defend this push. Immediately, Chromie tries to burn it down, dropping down that Dragon's Eye on the Night Camp to stop that spell aura from being too effective, while Genji takes the time to really group up and push out this middle lane. They want this experience. They want these turrets.
A big push for sure here that comes in from Gen.G, and they're trying everything. Chromie firing from the backline with the Dragon's Eye here, trying to get that damage against the Web Weaver as fast as possible, but especially Malfurion here with good zone control, making sure that it's not easy for Dignitas to move out. Johanna playing around the Iron Skin cooldown as much as possible, but Gen.G is now getting all that experience we talked about. They are a level ahead already, dropping tower after tower.
They are jumping up pretty well here. It's about to hit level 9, even tossing Wubby. Wubby the Drain Hope's trying to stay alive, but with no healer here, Wubby will fall once again as Genji continues to pick on him.
And another 10 gems lost. Gen.G absolutely dominating this early game now. The 2 kills against Leoric were crucial for them, and they are in full control of the map and the objective.
Now careful, Genji has a Garrosh sitting in the bush on the side. They would love to grab Snitch here if Genji is to go a little bit too far. Leoric responds, and with 10 hitting, Wubby gets picked off again.
Wubby for the 3rd time now dying on Leoric, and this is going to be a massive problem. The 10 is already in the hands of Genji. They have the gems for turning. They're only 3 short from completing it, and if they pull that off, they can push with the level 10 ability and also with the objective, and that's the nightmare situation if you're playing on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Things are definitely about to spiral out of control for Dignitas if they can't stop that, and they don't really have the window to do so. Chromie has yet to pick her heroic here, still waiting on that opportunity to find out what she wants to go for, but Dignitas wants to move into level 10. There it is. A temporal loop will be the choice. So Dignitas is hoping to find a pick, blow up a target, and try to get a number advantage.
It seems like Dignitas poked the bear a little bit too hard in the last game. Gen.G definitely enraged right now and trying to roll over the European team to get that 3-1 advantage. Early boss attempt for them as well, trying to go for it straight away with that level 10 talent advantage.
The bear is angry and they are running with that talent advantage as they go straight for that boss. Johanna's come on over, so is Uther as well. Will Dignitas attempt to even check out the area? Time Walker's Pursuit does reveal the area.
And they show it. They show it. They turn in and they show Dignitas what they're doing. They don't care. They dare them. They're just saying, come in here and fight, and we're going to show you what we're made of. A perfect rotation from Gen.G. They get with perfect timing the boss, the level 10, and they have the web weavers now. Dignitas had to look at it helplessly.
Arrow.
The arrow comes out. Tis goes in. He tries to go for the flip. Here comes a quick attempt to save Snitch, but that's not going to work out. Down he goes. Genji eliminated, and Gen.G is on a tear.
Dignitas is losing too many gems, and Genji is looking for another engage. Goes for the Groundbreaker, trying to grab Wubby, but Wubby able to get away. But the main problem are these forts. The top lane already destroyed. The keep wall will be next. Johanna doing her best to clear it out, but the problem is the top lane is their main priority, while the middle lane and the bottom lane have fallen victim too.
No silver linings for Europe in this game. Only dark clouds on the horizon as we see the boss and the web weavers push through the top lane. Dignitas with the attempt to defend this somewhere, somehow. But at this point, we have a 3-level lead for Gen.G and a level 13 talent already.
And with all these gems being lost too, that comeback potential falls dramatically for Dignitas. They do have enough for a turn-in, but they can't do back-to-back-to-back turn-ins that you would normally see if a team falls so far behind on this battleground. They at 8 minutes and 30 seconds of the game are having their keeps threatened.
Gen.G is absolutely murdering the game at this point. Dignitas is down 4 kills. They're down 3 levels, and they have lost every single fort on the map. The first line of defense has fallen, and all they rely on right now are their keeps. This is going to be a nightmare to start a comeback.
Dignitas, waiting for that comeback, has to play safe as they continue to soak it out. The good news is Gen.G only having 27 gems out of 60. It will take some time to grab all those gems, to go for a turn-in and continue the onslaught that they've had. But with you being 3 levels behind, Dignitas is looking for a miracle.
The situation here changes everything. Normally, you would try and buy some time. You would look for that extra talent, try and fight on enough talents against your opponent, get maybe a team fight victory and take it from there. But Dignitas is so far behind that they just have to accept that they will have to take a fight where they are a talent down, or hope for some miracle isolation kill. Maybe Chromie somehow gets the damage in. But where do you find that? Gen.G is not going to give them the opportunity. They're controlling the map even more, grabbing another mercenary camp to push through the mid lane.
Double Knight camp push here in the middle. Genji steps up and they look for a keep. The well starts taking damage. Chromie sieging away, trying to get the numbers low, but the spell aura being up, it's a little too difficult. Wubby taking a lot of damage on that front line.
And he's not the only one. The keep also is just getting obliterated here. Gen.G with a salvo once again. Shots fired as the Koreans move in to drop that mid lane keep and take it down 10 minutes into the game.
Hoik hits the Dragon Eye on Sake, but he heals on up and they kite away. Easy keep there for Gen.G. They jump up 4 levels. Now 3S12 finally comes online for Dignitas. It's getting close to a moment where they may just have to go for a Hail Mary play, a random temporal loop. Hopefully they can blow up a target.
Yeah, this is definitely going to start to look like a game where you have to make YOLO your mantra. There's not going to be a lot of even fighting going on here. You need to find that one opportunity. But they're still playing towards that 13. That time window is going to be so small, though. Gen.G is already looking at level 16. I'm not sure if Dignitas can really force that snap fight that they need here.
I don't think so either. They may just have to do it at a talent disadvantage and just go for it. 15.5 to 12.75. Dignitas doesn't even have a wave near them to start soaking yet. The Orc in the bottom lane would clear up those giants, but Genji defending the turn-in, continuing to collect gems. They'll have enough soon here to go for another turn-in. Dignitas needs to slow that down or at least stop it.
86 gems for Dignitas. They're trying to get the turn in, even though they are talent down. It doesn't matter anymore. At some point, you have to go for it, and that's the moment. They're starting to move in here. They're trying to get a kill. The Entomb comes down. Tranquility is in. The Salvo once more firing away as we have the potential kill against Georgia. They're going for it, and once again, it's Genji, and he takes the kill against Velvet. He gets it. Whoopi is stunned, though. Here comes Rich, and Rich shows no mercy. They take Whoopi down. Rich, just calm down. The guy has a family, for God's sake.
37 gems, and Reset's gonna keep going. He jumps on Chromie, he pops at the timeout. She'll try to survive for a few more seconds, but it's about to expire, and that's gonna be a dead gnome on the field as Poik gets picked off.
Genji with a triple counter kill after Malthael falls. Dignitas, they had to do something. They had to try. They knew that they were in the back foot. They were at a disadvantage, but there was no other choice. They needed to fight at some point. They choose their moment, but it was not enough.
You mentioned it earlier, when you poke the bear comes to your camp and he tramples everything. And that is what Genji is doing right now. With a 3-level lead, they have taken 2 keeps away from Dignitas. Dignitas will have one more chance, it feels like, to get back in this game.
One more team fight, but they're 2 keeps down, and Kyoja has taken position. They want to potentially go for boss again, and that one would eliminate the keep and maybe even end the game. But they also have a turn-in.
Dignitas made us have to fight this. Time
have to.
2 comes out. Kyoja has already started it, decides to pull on away. The rest of Genji already grouped in the middle, though, waiting for Dignitas to overstep, but also waiting for the web weavers to come so they can make a play for the core.
JPL looks for that play. He looks for that opportunity. They have to flank, and they're trying it right now. They're already starting to move in. This is the moment. Dignitas is putting everything on the line here. They have to. They're down 3 levels. They're down in talent, but there's no other way. They have to engage, and they go into the backline. Tranquility is already popped. Dignitas is falling. Slowly and steadily down she goes. Johanna is dead. Zelia falls. The double, the triple, as Genji goes for victory in the game. They're showing no mercy on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
And the bear completely walks right towards the core, and they'll continue to focus it. They'll have web weavers, the map objective helping out. Stitch for one last-ditch attempt is trying to get a kill, but even he can't get that. Wubby is the only member of Dignitas standing as Genji plays with their food. They get another pickoff, finally finishing off the core as they clean it up, going up 3-1.
Genji coming out swinging after the loss on the last map, definitely showing why they are the favorites in the series. Dignitas looked strong in game 1, strong in game 2. They were victorious there, but in Tomb of the Spider Queen, they did not stand a chance.
Absolute masterclass there from Genji, coming in to what many could consider home territory for Dignitas and the rest of Europe, and stopping that first initial turn-in, making sure to get a couple kills in that bottom lane, stopping, 40 gems before we even had a turn-in available for Dignitas. That is a very rough spot to be in, and Dignitas unable to come back.
2 kills against Whoopi on Leorix set it off. 20 gems lost just in those situations alone. An early lead in experience, and then from level 10 with the turn-ins, they snowballed it. And especially that perfect timing play around the boss that they took, daring Dignitas to go and contest it, and Dignitas just realized, we don't have time. We can't take it.
Let's go over to our panelists and see if they have anything extra to add about that match.
Oh, absolutely, my friend. With one hand, Gen.G gives. With the other one, they take away. 3-1 at the moment here, with one map left for themselves to be called the Mid-Season Brawl champions. And overall, it's almost as if Dignitas kind of kicked the bee's nest, because they looked angry in that last game, Dread.
Yeah, they very much did, and it started as early as level 1. If anybody did not know, the posturing that we saw from Gen.G, they walked past the halfway line, if you will, the line of scrimmage, and just sat there and said, bring it on, Dignitas, even dropping the sprays whenever they show themselves. So confidence displayed from literally the first second from Gen.G.
I think